Hello, welcome to Mrs. T's Treasury of Books. I am Mrs. T, and I am delighted to be sharing a beautiful story with you today titled Sulwe, written by Lupita Nyong'o and illustrated by Vashti Harrison. The purpose for today's lesson is we are going to be talking about what is the theme of a story. So I want you to be thinking about that. What is the theme of a story? And the theme of a story is the message or the central idea that the author is trying to convey to the reader. So I want you to be thinking about what is the message or the central idea the author is trying to convey to you as a reader. And as you try to think about that, there are three questions that I want you to give thought to, because these three questions will be able to help you to determine and to identify the author's theme for the book. And the first question is, what is the story mostly about? So as you are listening, I want you to be thinking about, what is this story mostly about? The second question that I want you to respond to and think about is, what is the meaning of the story? What is the meaning of the story? And thirdly, I want you to think about, what is the lesson the author is teaching? What is the lesson the author is teaching? And so again, today we are going to be identifying the theme of the story. Identifying the theme of Sulwe by Lupita Nyong'o. And this book is so beautifully illustrated. Sulwe was born the color of midnight. She looked nothing like her family, not even a little, not even at all. Mama was the color of dawn, Baba the color of dusk, and Mish, her sister, was the color of high noon. Hardly anyone at school looked like Sulwe either. People gave her sister, Mish, pet names like Sunshine and Ray and Beauty. People gave Sulwe names like Blackie and Darky and Night. Sulwe felt hurt every time, so she hid away while her sister made lots of friends. Sulwe dreamed of being the same color as her sister. She wanted real friends too. So she got the biggest eraser she could find and tried to rub off a layer or two of her darkness. That hurt. She crept into Mama's room and helped herself to her makeup. Oh no, she would hear about this from Mama. Sulwe decided to work from the inside out and ate only the lightest, brightest foods. With a stomach ache, she went to bed early and turned to God for a miracle. Dear Lord, why do I look like midnight when my mother looks like dawn? Please make me as fair as the parents I'm from. I want to be beautiful, not just to pretend. I want to have daylight. I want to have friends. If you hear me, my Lord, and would like to comply, may I wake up as bright as the sun in the sky. Amen. When Mama came in to wake her for school the next morning, Sulwe rose to find not a trace of daylight in her midnight skin. Sulwe told Mama everything. Mama asked, "What is your name?" "Sulwe," she muttered. "And what does it mean?" "Star," Sulwe whispered. Brightness is not in your skin, my love. Brightness is just who you are. As for beauty, Mama said, rubbing Sulwe's stomach the way she always did to comfort her, you are beautiful. Sulwe sighed. Well, you are beautiful to me, but you can't rely on what you look like to make you feel beautiful, my sweet. Real beauty comes from your mind and your heart. It begins with how you see yourself, not how others see you. Now, up you get and out you go. How could she, as dark as she was, have brightness in her? How could she have beauty when no one but her mother seemed to see it? How could she be a star? That night, a shooting star appeared at Sulwe's window. "The night sent me," the star said. "Come with me." Sulwe hopped onto the star and off they went. Long ago, at the beginning of time, said the star, there was night and day, and they were sisters. They loved each other very much, but people didn't treat the sisters the same. People gave Day pet names like lovely and nice and pretty. People gave Night names like scary and bad and ugly. She felt hurt every time. Well, Night got fed up and walked right off the earth. Day stayed behind and enjoyed making everybody happy in the sun. But then Day grew too long. Day began to really miss her sister, so did everybody else. There has to be a way to get her back. Day set off to find Night, and she did. "I miss you," said Day. "I miss you too," said Night. "But you don't know what it's like to be treated badly for being dark." "You're right, I don't," Day replied. "But what I do know is that we need you just the way you are. Come and see." Night returned and the people rejoiced. We need the darkest night to get the deepest rest. We need you so that we can grow and dream and keep our secrets to ourselves. The stars chimed in. Brightness isn't just for daylight. Light comes in all colors. Light can only be seen in the dark. While day had a golden glow, With night, everything had a silver sheen, elegant and fine. Day told her sister, when you are the darkest is when you are most beautiful. It's when you are most you. Could it be that night did not need to change, not even a little, not even at all? Now that night and day were back together, a little bit of night returned to day in the form of shadows, and a little bit of day returned to night in the form of moonlight. They were inseparable from that moment on and promised to celebrate the brightness in each other, whether people chose to see it or not. You see, the star explained, we need them both. On their sunniest day and their darkest night, and every shade in between. Together, they make the world we know, light and dark, strong and beautiful. Sulwe rose the next morning, beaming. There would be no hiding anymore. She belonged out in the world, dark and beautiful, bright and strong. And if she ever needed a reminder of the brightness, she could look up at the sky on the darkest night to see herself. Sulwe felt beautiful inside and out. So again, I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. I think it's just such a lovely story with such a powerful message. And so I want to talk to you today about what that message is. And that is the theme of a story. The theme of the story is the main message or the central idea that the author is trying to convey. So again, we're looking at what is the theme. So the question is, what is the story mostly about? So I want you to think about that. What is the story mostly about? And let's have some discussion about that. So this story is mostly about a little girl named Sulwe who did not like the color of the skin that she was in. And if you said something similar to that, that's wonderful, because this is what this story is about. So this is what this discussion should be about. And then, secondly, what is the meaning behind the story? What is the meaning behind the story? Let's think about that. What is the meaning behind this story? And I believe the meaning behind this story is about, the fact that when people compare themselves to others, they will sometimes and often dislike who they are because they're comparing themselves to something else. And when we compare ourselves to someone else, we don't value the greatness in ourselves. We often don't value the greatness in ourselves and the uniqueness of who we are. And then finally, the question is, what is the lesson the author is teaching? What is the lesson the author is teaching? What is the lesson? the author is teaching. And the lesson the author is teaching, Lupita Nyong'o, is teaching us is that true beauty comes from within. True beauty is from the inside out. And so when we think about what is the theme of this book and what is the theme statement, all we do is repeat that phrase, and we take out, of course, the author's message is, or the author's lesson is, and we just give the statement that would follow that. So we said the author's lesson is beauty is from the inside out. So our theme statement is beauty is from the inside out. And that is the theme of the book Sulwe by Lupita Nyong'o. That is the central idea of this book, the main message that the author is conveying to us as readers. And one of the things that good readers do is good readers are thinking before, during, and after reading. And one of the things that we are thinking about is, what is the message? What is the central idea the author is trying to tell us? Because again, we've discussed this in a previous lesson. Authors have a purpose and a reason for why they are writing the stories and telling the stories that they are telling. And oftentimes they want us to be able to receive a message that they think is important for us to know. So I look forward to our next time together on Mrs. T's Treasury of Books. Please go ahead and subscribe and share it with someone else, parents who you think would benefit from the lessons that we are doing together and being able to help with leading these discussions, getting great stories read to your kids, and being able to model for you the things that you can do with these wonderful stories together with your children. All right, so I look forward to our time together again on Mrs. T's Treasury of Books. Go ahead and subscribe and share it with someone else.